So, Kerry, we've got the dimension of professional attributes, and this consists of the three capabilities: value diversity, emotional intelligence, and continual development. Kerry, do you mind delving a little bit more into value diversity? I'm interested in how that plays a role now in the capabilities of a learning professional.
Sure, Joshua. It's really important as L&D professionals that we recognise the positive benefits of diverse ideas and methods that can be utilised in learning experiences. So it's respecting individuals' backgrounds, their differences, their ideas, their beliefs, all of that, and respecting those as well. So it's monitoring and taking in consideration all those different aspects. With our, with different approaches that we use, and making sure that it's benefit to everybody in that learning environment.
And I'm hearing a theme that we've heard in other dimensions around, I suppose, that professional flexibility and being able to adapt. If we're really valuing diversity of thought, of approach, of belief, even learning, we ourselves as the learning professional probably have to adapt. Is that right?
Absolutely. It's sort of, as you're going through a learning experience, there's going to be things that have come up that you weren't aware of. So it's sort of making sure that we're flexible enough when we identify that, and we can draw draw out people's ideas and their experiences to make it a more rich learning experience, and also, share ours that support that learning journey.
And it's probably a good point to acknowledge that some of us crazy people enjoy that edge of don't know what's going to come up next, but I definitely acknowledge that that can build anxiety or stress in other learning professionals if they don't know what's going to come next. Managing the thoughts and the emotions that must run through our head has got to be part of that. And it's probably a good link to emotional intelligence. Kerry, do you mind expanding on the role emotional intelligence plays as a capability in this dimension?
Absolutely, and it's just being aware, because as you said, your learners are going to come with all different backgrounds, different experiences from previous learning experiences. So they could be scared that they're going to be the dreaded role plays, or they're going to be put on the spot, or they've been sent to the learning program to be fixed. All of those sorts of things. So we really need to use emotional intelligence so that we can be aware and monitor the emotions of our learners, but also ours. So if we get a disrupted learner, suddenly it's like or something like that. So it's sort of being aware of what's happening within us, what our mindset is, as well as for our learners. And then sort of as we're monitoring, we're looking at their tone of voice, their body language, the energy levels, and how it's impacting them, us, as well as the other learners in the room.
So yet again, I'm hearing a theme consistent with some of our other dimensions now, that it's about looking to the learner and looking at ourselves. And if there's anything that comes up in regards to thoughts or feelings, it's keeping that trust between us as the professional and the learner as they go through their pathway, but also being able to make decisions based on that information, to really make it the best possible outcome for all of us involved in that person's learning.
Absolutely. We can't sort of like rely on scripting and sort of thinking that it's just going to completely flow how we want to. So that's why it's so important that we sort of monitor, the learners, our own, and ourselves as well. And as you said before, it's adapting and being flexible as we go along to ensure that, we're being considerate and, helping the learners through that journey.
And you mentioned the word monitor there, and ourselves. So we've seen this come up, and we will see it come up in other dimensions around it's not only the learner, it is us as the professional. It really leads itself to that third capability of continual development. Do you mind expanding on that one for us, Kerry?
Absolutely. Like we've covered, as we said, we've identified about 220 behaviours that L&D professionals need now in the future. And everybody's individual growth, our capability framework will grow because, the environment is changing continuously. So it's, committing to our own ongoing development, not just with our learning development skills, but also our area of expertise, so that we can keep monitoring new techniques, new methodologies, so that we can enhance the learning experience for our learners. So, we've got to make sure that we have a solid understanding, and just keep up to date with the different areas that we specialise in, and also making sure that they're current, and that we're not doing Google searches to keep up to date with things, that we're actually using the latest research. We're giving we're acknowledging where we've got the information from. We're not sort of taking credit for some other people's work, but it's sort of, we've got to keep up to date, because I know in my experience, a lot of people will get the basic qualification, where it's the certificate for an TAE or whatever, but they then think, okay, I'm qualified, I can now be like a general practitioner and train across different areas. So, but it's, we've got to continue, the learning. There's so much changing. There's so many new things coming available, whether it's just, and technologies, there's a lady, Jane Hart, that does the top 200 learning technologies every year, and at least 25% are new each year. So they're constantly touching up. And we have our member lounge on a Friday, and I'm constantly surprised to say, has anybody heard about this? And I've gone, oh no. So have to go up and find it. So there's always something happening. And I remember years ago, Joshua, we had a conference, and this L&D professional booked, and then he sort of said, look, no, I've had a look at the content, I can't learn anything. And I thought, well, what a shame. I've been in the industry for over 25 years, and I am continuously learning. I love seeing how other people present content that they use, all of those sort of things. So you continuously learn. So you can't stop learning, but it's really important that, just constantly drawing connections with, where am I now, taking a look at reviewing my successes, and what are the areas that I can focus in on and improve myself, as well as the experience of the learners that come along to my programs.
And it may sound obvious with this capability of continual development, but it's really about relevance. It's relevance for my experience, relevance in the market, relevance with technology. I'm sure that this would also incorporate any core challenges in the learner's organisation, or that stakeholders are aware of, and constantly monitoring ourselves, the environment, the learner, the culture, to really make sure we are relevant in that moment. And that's a big call, given how much change we're seeing and how rapid that change is coming at the moment. So thank you, because that really makes a lot of sense, and it contextualizes that continual development. I can see why that's the last one here of, it's a journey. It is our own pathway to continue building others' learning pathways. Have I understood that correctly?
Absolutely. And you just touched on a really good point, which I didn't mention, which is sort of, having a look at those core challenges within an organization. So it's sort of really, about, your three things. So it's sort of your learning and development skills and knowledge. It's your area of expertise, skills and knowledge, but also your awareness and understanding of, the organization, so that you can add the best value through your learning initiatives, and it's, it's relevant and it's up to date. So yeah, very important. So thank you for bringing that up.
Look, Kerry, thank you for just guiding us through the dimension of professional attributes. If we recap, the three capabilities are value diversity, emotional intelligence, and continual development. And these ones really sound like they're core, and they're not static. These sound like they are dynamic, and I'm really, really keen to hear from our mentors in the sessions with each of these capabilities around how we do stay dynamic rather than static, in terms of professional attributes. So Kerry, thank you for that.
My pleasure, and well said. Thanks, Joshua.